Walking dead people and flesh-eating monsters probably has to be my favorite movie genre of all time. For 50 or more years, the evolution of zombies has evolved, diving deep into the collective unconscious. With the obvious thrill, fear, and the familiarity carried within the zombies, they touch the deepest aspects of social anxieties, a pandemic to the erosion of individuality and personality. The ruthless nature of these creatures adds to the emotionality of the films. A former friend has now become a mindless, flesh-eating monster. They force us to confront the dark truths of humanity and our societal constructs, while delivering us with spine-chilling horror that fights for survival. Now let's gear up for the blood and the gore as we dive into these 15 flesh-ripping zombie films. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Night of the Living Dead, 1968. Night of the Living Dead, directed by George A. Romero, unfurls as a movie of survival during an outbreak of corpses that crave human flesh. The protagonist, Ben, played by Dwayne Jones, and Barbara, played by Judith O'Dea, along with 5 other people, navigate the route to survival as they're stuck in a rural Pennsylvania farmhouse, surrounded by zombies. The film begins with traumatizing Barbara by a zombie attack. Her character arc develops from extreme vulnerability to a more resilient stance while she confronts the horrors of the dead. The farmhouse becomes a battleground for the zombies, becoming a home for internal conflicts among the group, with screams of fear and mistrust and a pinch of interpersonal drama and grotesque horror. The film addresses the atrocities of how survival makes profound changes in the societal norms. Another potent theme in the film is racism, which is portrayed through Ben's tragic fate in the climax. Romero also taps into existential dread, bringing the fear of death and the unknown through the act of bringing the dead to life, giving a terrorizing look to the familiar monsters. The fear is amplified, which resonates with the global fears of a pandemic. This movie is a must-watch for horror enthusiasts due to its historical significance and its introduction to flesh-eating humans, which creates a hauntingly beautiful experience that lingers in the minds of the viewers.
My best friends are pedophiles.
Brain Dead, aka Dead Alive, 1992. Brain Dead is a horror comedy directed by Peter Jackson, famously known for its extreme gore and dark humor. The plot revolves around a young man named Lionel, living in New Zealand, who gets wrapped up in a series of events after his mother is bitten by a Sumatran rat monkey. His mother transforms into a zombie, and her insatiable hunger creates a massive zombie outbreak in their community. Lionel is torn between saving his mother and Paquita, his newfound lover, and must navigate his survival trying to keep the zombies at bay. Lionel goes through a character development, from a timid mama's boy to an unconventional hero. He uses innovative ideas to contain the epidemic, like using a lawnmower as a weapon. The cast includes colorful and stimulating characters like Uncle Les, a slimy person with a profound ego as big as a mansion, Nurse McTavish, whose dedication to her profession is tested in the face of the chaos. At the core of this movie lies the complexities of familial relationships. The apocalypse forces Lionel to face his dysfunctional family dynamics and take charge of the situation. The theme of love and sacrifice is brought to light with repeated attempts of protection provided to Paquita, an unwavering commitment in the face of a threat. The over-the-top gore and humor create an unreal world where the rules of reality are hanging by a thread. By the nature of Lionel's mother, we see the gist of what obsession and control can do, delving into the destructive nature of unchecked obsessions and the havoc they can wreak. Train to Busan, 2016. Train to Busan, directed by Yoon Sang-ho, is a South Korean thriller set on a moving bullet train. It combines the horror of a zombie outbreak, action, and deep emotional resonance between a divorced father and a daughter who sought and yearned for his presence. As the train is about to depart, an infected woman boards the train and soon turns into a zombie, quickly spreading the infection. The chaos ensues, and the plot revolves around the survivors: Seok-woo, the father; Soo-an, the daughter, a working-class husband and his pregnant wife, a high school baseball team, and others. They face multiple obstacles, including blocked paths and stations swarmed with infected humans, and the need to transfer trains. My favorite scene of this movie is the climactic scene where Seok-woo, Soo-an, and the pregnant wife are the only survivors. They find an operational locomotive and start heading towards Busan, the last safe zone. But Seok-woo is bitten while saving someone else. He soon realizes that he's turning into a zombie and selflessly separates himself from his daughter and the pregnant wife. Before exiting from the train car, he shares a final moment with his daughter, remembering the day she was born, filled with pure joy and love, indicating regret over not being a more present father. The film provides a strong critique of societal structures and class divisions. Throughout the movie, the characters are faced with choices between self-protection and the greater good. The film plays around with acts of sacrifice and teamwork, showing that a crisis like this can either bring out the best in people or the worst. Seok-woo's journey revolves around redemption and reflection of his absence toward his daughter. The extreme survival conditions test human morals and ethics, and how people respond and remain human when survival instincts take over. The movie is immensely praised for its emotional depth, tear-jerking climax, beautifully crafted action, and tight pacing. Unlike other horror zombie-related films, this film has a deep emotional engagement, which makes the viewers care about the characters on a greater level. Dawn of the Dead, 1978. Dawn of the Dead, directed by George A. Romero, stands as the second film in Romero's Living Dead series. The movie begins with the United States in chaos, where a zombie apocalypse breaks out. Stephen and Francine, who work at a TV station, and Roger and Peter, who are SWAT team members. They escape the city in a helicopter, and the city is devolving into utter chaos before their eyes. They come across a large shopping mall and secure the area to make a safe home without zombies for themselves. As they settle into their life in the mall, the group gets highly isolated from the outside world. Their sanctuary is eventually compromised by a roving biker gang that discovers the mall. This leads to a chaotic battle between the zombies and the humans. The battle results in many deaths and threatens the safety of the group. In the end, after suffering personal losses, Stephen and Francine face an important decision about their future. We see them escaping the mall in the helicopter, with a hint of uncertainty and fate. One of the most prominent themes of this movie is consumerism. The film's setting is a shopping mall, which Romero uses as a symbol of mindless consumption. The zombies in the mall are drawn to a place of routine, despite the lack of need. The characters not only struggle to survive, but also face problems such as looting, use of violence for survival, and maintaining their humanity amidst the monstrous outbreak. The small group of survivors are isolated in the mall, which mirrors the broader collapse in the societal structures outside. Critics have praised the film not only for its thrills, but also a creeping sense of dread to the consumerist culture. Variety magazine describes the film as a splashy, stylized horror film that delivers enough jolts of fear to keep fans of the genre happy. This movie offers the viewer a definition of modern horror. Dawn of the Dead was made to examine the world it was made in, making it a piece that is timeless, which resonates with viewers years after its release.
I'm going to leave.
Shaun of the Dead, 2004. Shaun of the Dead is a British horror comedy, directed by Edgar Wright, and is the first of this Cornetto trilogy. It wonderfully blends horror and humor to a parody of the zombie genre, weaving a story of personal growth and friendship. Shaun, an electronics salesman whose life is stuck in a rut, spends most of his time in the Winchester pub, with his best friend Ed. Liz, Shaun's girlfriend, breaks up with him due to his lack of ambition and his over-reliance on his unemployed best friend. Shaun resolves to turn his life around and make something of it. His great plans are brought down by the outbreak of the zombie apocalypse. Shaun devises a plan to show himself as responsible and decisive and aims to rescue his mum, reconcile with his ex-girlfriend, and seek refuge in his favorite pub. This plan leads to a series of misadventures. There's a gradual transformation from a helpless loser to a resourceful leader to Shaun's character, and Ed brings a sigh of relief with his laid-back attitude and inappropriate comments to the tension and uncertainty around them. Liz is driven by practicality, serving as motivation for Shaun's change. Shaun has a strained relationship with his father, Philip, but slowly they find moments of understanding amid the zombie chaos. The highlight of this movie is that it revolves around complacency and stagnation, which explores how individuals need to break free from this rut and achieve personal growth. Despite Shaun's shortcomings, his friendship with his best friend remains steadfast, which underlies the importance of loyalty and sticking together when things are hard. The film was highly praised for its satirical humor that finds a way to crawl up the legs of this genre and bite it in the neck. Moreover, it keeps the viewers on their toes to relate to Shaun and root for the best. The Beyond, 1981. The Beyond is an Italian horror film directed by Lucio Fulci. The story is centered around a cursed hotel, the Seven Doors Hotel in Louisiana. It tells us about the dark history of the hotel and its connection to the gateway to hell. Liza Merrill, who inherits the hotel, begins renovations in it despite being warned of the horror that comes with it. Liza becomes entangled in a web of supernatural force and is forced to uncover the truth behind the cursed legacy of the hotel. The movie blurs the lines between reality and a dream sequence as Liza confronts malevolent entities from the grave. The film showcases themes of the unknown and unexplainable that defies the laws of science and rationality. It explores the concept of past sins, becoming a point of focus for evil spirits and evil. The isolated setting of the hotel drives Liza into madness and amplifies the sense of dread and suffocation. The Beyond has gained popularity due to its visceral gore, dream imagery, and atmospheric visuals. The movie feels like a nightmarish journey into the depths of its eerie visuals and supernatural horror. Day of the Dead, 1985. The Day of the Dead, directed by George A. Romero, is the third movie in the Living Dead series. The film is set in a military bunker where a group of scientists and soldiers are hiding from a zombie apocalypse that's terrorizing the world. Dr. Sarah Bowman, Dr. Matthew Logan, nicknamed Frankenstein, and their team of researchers are conducting experiments to understand and control the zombies. The film revolves around the direction of their research and the dangling hope of finding a solution to the zombie plague. Dr. Logan becomes obsessed with training a zombie to exhibit signs of intelligence and empathy. This raises questions about the nature of humanity and the coexistence between living and the undead. The film walks into the horrors of the dangers of tampering with forces beyond human control. The characters struggle for survival in this hostile world, bringing in desperation, resilience, and the lengths people will go to just to protect themselves. Some people praised the movie for its storytelling, while others criticized it for the graphic depiction of violence. The film is praised for its depth in regard to trust and authority, which resonate with the contemporary audiences. The film shows some of the most memorable special effects in zombie cinema, and offers a deep plunge into ethical dilemmas and human behavior. The underground bunker setting cooks up a claustrophobic environment to the already suffocating plot, enhancing the drama of the story. The Day of the Dead is a film that not only leaves the viewers entertained, but also provokes them to think through the questions about human nature and authority. Rec 2007 is a Spanish horror film co-directed by Jaume Balaguero and Paco Plaza. The film begins with a TV reporter, Angela Vidal, and her cameraman Pablo, who are filming an episode of a reality show. The episode focuses on the night shift of two firefighters, Alex and Manu, who are on a routine call to an apartment where an old woman is trapped in her apartment. The old woman becomes violently aggressive, attacking one of the policemen. Soon they realize that she's infected with a virus that makes people aggressive. The virus spreads rapidly through the building, and Angela and Pablo are locked in by the authorities to contain the outbreak. The viewers are thrown into the perspective as the whole movie is shot from the point of view of Pablo's camera. Rec uses found footage to amplify the horrors and the unpredictability of the film. The film explores the role of media in shaping reality. Through the lens of the camera, the movie scrutinizes how situations are portrayed to the public and the impact of journalism on viewer perception. The characters experience a complete loss of control over their situation, showcasing fears of helplessness in such situations. The unique found footage style makes the suspense and fear feel more real. The Return of the Living Dead, 1985. The Return of the Living Dead, 1985, is a horror comedy film directed by Dan O'Bannon. The zombies in this movie are portrayed as intelligent and have a crazy craving for brains. The film opens with Frank, an employee. Freddy is working at a medical supply warehouse, showing his new employee a drum full of chemical compound called trioxin. Frank releases the gas from the drum, which reanimates a dead corpse. The dead corpse attacks them, and Frank runs to call his boss, Bert. Frank and Bert arrive at the cemetery where Freddy's friends are partying, and unknowingly release more trioxin in the air, causing the zombies in the cemetery to come to life. Frank, Bert, Freddy, and his friends are left to face zombies that are now craving brains. The Return of the Living Dead gains its popularity from its dark humor. The film incorporates gruesome and terrifying scenes with comedic situations and dialogue. The movie features a group of punk rockers, adding aesthetics of rebellion, in contrast to the authorities that are trying to contain the zombie outbreak. The film has a huge impact on pop culture and the zombie genre, by adding unique touches to the zombie-like, talking intelligent beings with distinct humane personalities. 28 Days Later, 2002. 28 Days Later, 2002 is a film directed by Danny that introduced the concept of fast-moving, rage-infected humans. The film begins with animal activists infiltrating a research facility in Cambridge to release chimpanzees being used for medical experiments. The chimpanzees are infected with a virus called Rage, which is contagious and induces extreme levels of aggression in its hosts. The chimp that gets released immediately attacks and infects its rescuers. The film jumps its timeline to 28 days later, showing Jim, a bicycle courier who wakes up from a coma in a deserted hospital. As he wanders out in London, he finds the city to be eerily empty and discovers that the virus has devastated society, leaving it in ruins devoid of life. The deserted streets of London create a sense of isolation and desolation. The film dives into the psychology psychological impact of being cut off from society and the struggles of coping with its consequences, like loneliness and despair. 28 Days Later explores darker aspects of human nature. It raises questions of trust, morality, and how far people can go to achieve their goals, even at the cost of others' lives. The film was lauded for adding a new level of urgency and intensity to its horror elements. Zombie Flesh Eaters, 1979, aka Zombie 2. Zombie Flesh Eaters, 1979 is an Italian zombie horror film directed by Lucio Fulci. It was said to be a quasi-sequel to George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, 1978, which was released in Italy as Zombie. The film begins with an abandoned yacht drifting into the New York harbor. When the Coast Guard enters the boat, a grotesque zombie attacks them. The daughter of the boat's owner, Anne Bowles, teams with a journalist named Peter to trace the yacht to its last known whereabouts, which leads them to a tropical island called Matul. Anne and Peter encounter Dr. Menard, a scientist who's trying to find a cure for the disease that keeps zombies alive. Paolo, Dr. Menard's wife, is tragically affected by the zombies. The sense of being trapped inside the island isolates the characters and intensifies feelings of claustrophobia and helplessness. With graphic depictions of zombies in various stages of their decay, the film explores the fear of death and decay. Dr. Menard's attempts to find a cure for the zombie apocalypse raises ethical questions about the limits of science. The film was famous for its iconic scene, the underwater confrontation between the zombie and the shark. Zombie Flesh Eaters became a pivotal movie in the zombie genre for showing its unflinching violence and unique zombie portrayals. Zombieland 2009. Zombieland 2009 was directed by Ruben Fleischer. The movie starts off in a post-apocalyptic America where a mad cow disease has mutated into a zombie-creating virus. The film showcases the journey of survivors who band together to wander across the infected United States in hopes of finding a safe place. Their journey is highlighted by various rules posed by the film's protagonist, Columbus, to survive in Zombieland, which adds a comedic aspect to the horror genre. Columbus is an anxious young man who navigates his way among the city full of zombies. He's accompanied by Tallahassee, a tough, fierce, Twinkie-loving badass with a mysterious past. Wichita and Little Rock are two sisters who have become skilled at manipulating others to ensure their survival. The film not only provides laughs and thrills, but also dives into the importance of connection, loneliness, and fear in an infected world. The characters gradually form a dysfunctional family unit. They struggle to form a connection and grapple with loneliness. Each character embodies a desire for normalcy amidst the chaos, a desire to find what they've lost, and a deep yearning for stability. The film's pacing, blend of drama, witty scenarios, and a comedic touch was well appreciated by its viewers. World War Z 2013. World War Z was directed by Mark Foster and based on the novel of the same name by Max Brooks. The story begins with Jerry Lane and his family, his wife, two daughters stuck in traffic on the streets of Philadelphia. As the zombie outbreak occurs, Jerry's former UN colleagues help evacuate his family to safety, while Jerry is summoned to investigate how the outbreak occurred. He travels the world from South Korea to Israel and beyond the waters to search for answers. He discovers that the virus is deadly and turns humans into aggressive, fast-moving zombies within seconds of being infected. Jerry encounters various survivors and scientists who are trying to provide insights into how the human race is coping with the crisis. The film showcases how individuals in different societies and cultures respond to extreme situations. Jerry Lane embodies a brave archetype as he sacrifices his life to find a cure for the zombie virus and protect what's left of the human civilization. It perfectly portrays the ethical dilemmas faced by people who dedicate their lives to save the world while there's a deadly crisis for survival happening out in the world. While many praise the film for Brad Pitt's performance as Jerry Lane, some criticized it for its deviation from the novel written by Max Brooks. Burial Ground, 1981. Burial Ground, directed by Andrea Bianchi, is known for its over-the-top gore, unsettling atmosphere, and eccentricities. The film is about a group of people who gather at a remote villa for a vacation. The villa is located near an Etruscan crypt, where ancient corpses have been buried. Due to a scientific experiment gone wrong, the corpses rise from the dead, going insane as flesh-eating monsters. The group of visitors are seen fighting for their lives and find a way to survive the nightmare that has risen in front of them. Michael is a peculiar, unsettling figure who's portrayed as a child, but he's a fully grown adult. His disorder, a genetic anomaly which displays an Oedipal fixation on his mother, makes him seem like a child. Evelyn is Michael's mother, who's staying at the villa accompanied by Alan, a friend, and Jan. Janet. The depiction of Oedipus complex, inappropriate attraction to one's mother, in Michael, adds a bizarre element to the movie. The relentless zombies bring in a thought that death is inevitable and inescapable, and pursue the living until they succumb to their atrocities. Its gore and peculiarities have given the movie bonus points, and its flaws are viewed as sources of amusement and enjoyment. The makeup and the representation of the zombies brought a perfect amount of gruesomeness to the visualities of the film. Burial Ground has been celebrated to bring out Freud's understanding of human nature, a topic that brings shock to most of the public. The Girl with All the Gifts, 2016. The Girl with All the Gifts, 2016, is directed by Colin McCarthy, based on the novel by M.R. Carey, who also wrote the screenplay. It's set in a dystopian future where a fungal infection has spread and turns its host into flesh-eating creatures called hungries. Melanie, a young girl who has been infected by a pathogen, retains her emotions and intelligence. She displays characteristics of a human, even after being infected by the fungus. Melanie is held in a military base, and is stuck with other children like her and is subjected to experiments by scientists who are searching for a cure. Dr. Caroline Caldwell believes that these children are the key to developing a vaccine against the infection. The base is eventually attacked by the zombies, and Melanie flees with her favorite teacher, Miss Helen, Sergeant Eddie Parks, and Dr. Caroline. The film explores what it means to be human, presenting the challenges faced by Melanie. It dives into the questions of identity, empathy, and blurs the line between humans and monsters. It also explores the ongoing debate about nature versus nurture, and Melanie's upbringing and environment played an important role in shaping her behavior. The movie gained its momentum based on the dystopian fictions of Sinia Nanua's portrayal of Melanie, as she was relatively young and was widely praised for her depth and emotional range at such a young age. Marvelous verdict. Watching zombie movies in the horror genre has kept many of us on our feet, with immense thrills, excitement, and raising various questions that are otherwise not thought about. The genre has evolved greatly and has been able to deliver a wide array of terrifying and thought-provoking scenes that leave the audience dumbfounded. Some delve into existential dread, whereas some have peak comedy scenes and offer a peculiar perspective on societal norms and ethical standards. The zombie genre has always been open to interpretation and addition of various other themes. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and comment your favorite movie in this horrifying genre. Until next time, and if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!